chat. Me very busy with my fingers and my hands. And here come the adverts. We'll get rid of those. Just bear me a moment, guys. There we go, we're all working. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to you wherever you are in the world. This is Brooks's Base Corner, live chat 28. Goodness, the weeks do fly by. We've got two more of these before we stop the live chats for Christmas. I'm Mike Brooks. This is Brooks's Base Corner, bass live chat. So you want to talk about bass guitars, bass amps, bass speakers, bass effects, bass accessories. Got any problems with your gear? It might not be working, or you'd like to talk about some gear that you're thinking of buying, and maybe like some recommendations. Christmas coming. Want to talk about accessories that you might need, looking at musicians' toolkits, guitar maintenance kits. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but there we go. I'll bring it down and I'll show you. So if you feel like, oh, I might need something like that, ask me. I might be able to help you. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining in. Thank you very much to all the new subscribers on the channel. Numbers are up. It seems to be week on week. I keep saying everything's growing, but it is. If I look at my analytics for the channel, everything has got green arrows going upwards, which means progress and positive progress. So it's all good. So if you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining in. If you've never done a live chat before, or even whether on my channel or anyone else's. So if you're on the mobile app, you're watching this video, underneath is a live chat window. You can put in comments, questions, anything you'd like to ask me, anything you'd like to say about the channel, about the videos, feel free. If you're on the desktop app, whether you're on a PC, Mac, laptop, whatever, the live chat is that way. So big window there with a live chat. You can put your comments, questions, what have you in there. As soon as I see them here in the live chat window, I'll respond to them. Let me think what I've got to tell you since last week. We do this every Tuesday, by the way, at 7 o'clock. Have done for a number of weeks. We've got another couple of weeks left, and then we're going to stop these regular Tuesday night live chats over Christmas. I can see there's a big shadow on my face. We will stop them for a couple of weeks over Christmas, but there will be some impromptu live chats. I've got quite a few gigs over December. So for sound checks and hanging out at gigs, I might just turn the camera on and we'll do an impromptu live chat. If you want to know when those happen, hit the subscribe button below, hit the notification bell, and that'll then give you a notification when those happen. Otherwise, you'll just be relying on the YouTube feed to tell you. You might well miss out on those. We did a couple, or I did a couple of those a few weeks back when I was on a run of gigs. They were a load of fun. And because I was there, sound check, equipment, all tooled up, connected, we were able to talk about stuff that we don't normally get to talk about here on the live chats when they're done here at here in my office. But when we're out on the road, it's a different thing. So yeah, if you've not done a live chat before, put your comments, questions in the live chat window. As soon as I see them pop up, I'll deal with them. If you've never done a live chat, channels like this and other channels on YouTube, in a live chat window, there's an emoji icon at the bottom, so you can add emojis to the chat. Feel free to do that as you wish. There's also a dollar symbol that allows you to make a financial contribution to the channel. It allows me to buy the equipment for doing the filming and the editing and mic stands and camera tripods and pieces of equipment that get reviewed and demoed here on the channel, and the maintenance stuff for cleaning the guitars and fixing the necks and all of that. Financial contributions help towards that. They also help towards studio hire. Sometimes for when I'm recording certain videos, I'm going to need to hire a studio that's bigger than my office here. So if you choose to make a financial contribution to the channel, it is very much appreciated, very welcome, and I'll give you a nice big shout out for the privilege. You can also, under all videos here on Brooks's Base Corner, because we're monetized, When you look below a video, there's a series of icons. So you've got a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a share button, watch later, save. There's also a love heart in there's a dollar symbol in a love heart. That's called super thanks. So on the live chat, it's called super chat within the live chat window. But on any given video, you have the opportunity again to make a financial contribution to the channel and how it's run and buying the gear and all of that stuff. So that's called super thanks. So if you see a video or you like a particular channel or you watch a video and it helps solve a problem that you've got, you might just want to say to the contributor, that really helped. So thank you. And that allows you to make a contribution, however big, however small, it's all worthwhile. And it helps to keep the channel moving in a positive direction, and the YouTube algorithm loves it. So if you wish to do that, either within the live chat window, which again is called super chat, or on this video, if you're watching at a later date, you can access the super thanks in the row of icons that are below the main video window, and you can do that at any time. And that goes for every video here on the channel. News, let's see what news since last Tuesday. So people who've watched for the past couple of weeks will know I keep banging on about YouTube Shorts, which are going to get a huge amount of propulsion in January and February from the YouTube algorithm. So there's been a lot of YouTube Shorts videos going up on the channel. There is a load of long form content that hopefully I'm going to start putting those out tomorrow. And I intend to put up gig number 12 of the bass string experiment. So if you haven't watched any of those, if you're watching at a later date, I'll put a link in the description box below this video. All links to any videos or content that's here on my channel will be in the description box below 24 hours after this video is taking place. So at the moment it's Tuesday and it's 7 minutes past 7 in the evening here in the UK. Within 24 hours, that description box will have a load of timestamps and links to various things that I refer to in tonight's live chat. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I've got a series of videos running at the moment called the Bass String Experiment. So basically, this lovely red Status Graphite Empathy bass behind me has been strung with a set of Rotor Sound Swing Bass 66 round wound steel strings. And they've been on it since the end of July. And at the moment, we're up to gig 17. Yeah, gig 17. Gig number 18 takes place this weekend. On the channel, we're up to gig 11. But gigs 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 are all edited, ready to go. And hopefully number 12 will be going live tomorrow. So if you haven't watched any of those, again, I'll put the link in the description box. I may well put a link here as well. So as I say that, suddenly a card should appear and you can click on it and it'll take you straight through to the playlist. Basically, it's looking to see how long those strings will last on that bass, how many gigs they will do, and basically how many shows can I get out of a set of strings playing for 1 to 2 hours, because gigs all differ. Not all gigs are the same length. And at what point does either a string in the set break or the tuning stability dies off, at which point I can't use those strings. If they're not going to stay in tune, they've got to go. So at the moment, we're up to gig 17, got gig 18 this week. There's 2 or 3 gigs next week. So we're getting in towards the 20s now. I have a feeling we might get towards the 30s. Who knows, we could even get into the 40s, but we'll just have to see. So if you want to see how that has progressed, then check out the Bass String Experiment playlist and you'll see there's the initial introduction video, and then it's basically gig 1, gig 2, gig 3, gig 4. They're all different. So if you haven't checked any of those out, feel free. Let's think, what else have we got coming up? The interviews with various bass Illuminati look like they're going to be definitely happening after Christmas now. The guys I was hoping to interview are just too busy. They're flat out. And even though I've said a 30-minute interview will be more than ample, they're like, no, we want to do a little longer than that, but just don't really have the time till we get into January. So those will be appearing on the channel probably after Christmas. Let's think, what else? We've been busy gigging over the past week. I had an Oasis and Stone Roses tribute show on Friday last week at the River Rooms in Stourbridge, West Birmingham, here in the UK. And then Saturday I had a private event with This Is Queen, which is obviously a Queen tribute, the name gives it away, and Precision's all the way there. So 2 gigs in the can last week. One gig this week, and then a gig next Monday. So we've got Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno on a public event on Saturday down in Eastbourne on the south coast here in the UK. And then Monday I am doing This Is Queen again at Butlins in Bognor Regis, again south coast territory. So it's kind of busy, which is good. And then when we get into December, it starts to go a little ballistic. So all good. So welcome, live chat 28, Brooks's Bass Corner, Tuesday night 7 p.m. here in the UK. You're very welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I can see a few people have joined us, so that's all good. If you're watching this after the event, you can still contribute to the conversation, although obviously not in the live chat window. You can chat to me via the comments, and if you've got anything you want to say or want to ask, or if you're looking for some advice about anything that we talk about tonight, put it in the comments, and as soon as I see those pop up in the coming days, weeks, months, years, I'll respond to them as soon as I see them. I get a little notification in the creator dashboard, and it says you've got a message waiting. So yes, if you've got anything you'd like to add to what we discussed tonight, then feel free. Let me think, what do I need to tell you? So yes, we've got YouTube shorts going up every day at the moment, long form content tomorrow, and I think what else, there was something else before the weekend. Live chat tonight. There are some workshop videos coming as well. I've been filming and planning today. So if you've watched any of the workshop videos here on the channel before, there aren't many. I think there's only 3 or 4. Again, I'll put a link in the description box. Basically, I go into my workshop in my garage, get the various basses that need working on, get to it, and you see all the tools, all the different techniques for solving the problems that those basses have. Give them a good clean, give the fingerboards a good sorting out, clean the frets, action, intonation, setup, tighten everything up, how to put strings on, which isn't the most easiest thing with some of the basses here. And I will film those, and they will be going up on the channel. So a couple of my basses need some work before next week, which is when the Christmas sort of run up starts. So I'll be going in the garage doing some workshop videos. So if you'd like to see some more of those, or maybe there's something you would like to know, maybe one of your own basses needs some work, or something's not right, ask me, I might know. I've been playing for 35 years, 27 as a working professional. I've done over 4,000 gigs. I wrote for Bass Guitar Magazine and Bass Player for 18 years. I kind of know a bit about bass guitars. So if there's anything you'd like to ask, or you need some advice about some gear, maybe some of your gear's not working properly, maybe you're thinking of buying something, maybe there's something new that's caught your eye, I might have reviewed it. So let me know. Put it in the chat window, and if you want to ask some questions about anything, then feel free. Let's see, I'm just looking to see how many people on there. Yeah, that all tallies up. I'm just checking the text working, and it looks like it is. So yes, as we approach Christmas, I'm going to be doing some YouTube short videos. There might also be a couple going up on Instagram, but we'll see. I need to kind of get into the mechanics of Instagram. You may already follow me on Instagram, follow the channel on Instagram. Obviously we're on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. But there's a whole load of back end regarding running a channel and then also having it on Instagram. So there's a load of stuff, loads of options. As kind of a channel trying to grow, you kind of need to address all the things that are there. If you just use Instagram for posting your picture and sort of messaging, that's cool. but there's loads of stuff for people like me that run channels to kind of get our teeth into. And I've never sat down and really got into the meat and potatoes of it, so I need to do that. So there's possibly some of these videos that I'm going to be putting up on shorts may well surface also as reels on Instagram. So in the run up to Christmas, anyone who's followed the channel or has watched any of the videos, you may have noticed there was a Christmas gift guide 2 years ago. We're basically looking at gifts for bass players, either for a bass player to think, oh, I need that, I need to put that on my list, or for them to share with friends, family, to say, you know, I could do with some of this, can I have some of that for Christmas? So it would include things like this, so patch cables from Ernie Ball. These are great. I've got a whole bunch of these on my pedal train board. I can highly recommend them. Flat angled jacks, so they're really good. So I have things like that, or a Boss TU02 clip-on tuner, all these sort of items, and maintenance kits, and various creams and waxes and cleaners. So there's going to be a whole bunch of videos. It's going to be one a day going up on YouTube Shorts. So if you want to check those out, they're no more than 60 seconds long each one. And they're like, it'll be like an advent calendar, I guess. So there'll be a new one up every day leading up to Christmas. And as I've said, I may well sort of port them over onto Instagram as well. We'll see. I need to do a few tests tomorrow to see if the audio is working and what have you. But we'll see how that goes. So, Stacey Ann, here we go, North Carolina, US. Hello, sir. Hello, madam. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining in. Hope everything's all fine and dandy over there. I'm just selecting all messages so I see everything as it pops up on the camera. I hope everything's good over there. And how's the bass playing going? I can ask these questions. It's a bass channel. Well, you still haven't told me if you've put those flat wound rotor sound strings on your... We were going to put them on the Marco Jazz, weren't we? You haven't told me if that's happened yet. I'm guessing not, or maybe you would have mentioned it. But yeah, Stacey bought a set of rotor sound flat wound strings about 18 months ago, maybe longer. Yeah, we're waiting for a catch up on whether they've been fitted, but clearly not at the moment. Oh, yes, is that yes they have been, or yes you're acknowledging that I'm talking about the rotor sound flat wound strings? And there's a delay on the line today, obviously. Oh, yes, you have. They are fabulous. Well, there you go. Yeah, they'll probably work on that bass really well. Stacey bought a Marco M1. Was it from Brazil? After I did a review of a Marco bass for Bass Guitar Magazine back in 2018. And the Marco basses were great, really great. And at the time, Stacey was looking to buy a jazz bass. And I suggested these Marcos are really good. You might want to take a look. And she had a custom bass made, I think, didn't you? Nice sunburst finish. The flats are great, easier on the fingers too. See, I wasn't sure if you were going to get on with those because they're quite bulky, need a bit more kind of finger pressure. But if you're getting on with those and they're working for you, then that's fabulous. Good stuff. I'm expecting some Bernard Edward licks soon. I expect some video footage of this to prove the point. But yeah, you had those strings a good long while, so yeah, I'm pleased that they finally got installed. I remember when you got them, it was like, I've finally got them. Yes, they're here. But yeah, you didn't mention that you'd actually put them on, so I'm very pleased. There we go. So now you've got a couple of basses, some with round wounds, some with flat wounds, and I think you've got flat wounds on your Nordstrand Synonix, which comes with flat wounds installed, I think. But they're quite different. I think those are D'Addario's on there, which are quite different to the rotor sound flat wounds. But there we go. There we go. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is Brooks's Space Corner, live chat number 28. I don't know where 28 live chats have gone. If you've been with us before, welcome back. It's always lovely having you guys here. We've had some quite frantic live chats in the past couple of weeks, which have been great. There's been a lot of two-way conversations, and actually the whole thing relies on you guys posting messages here in the live chat window. So feel free, if you've got anything you'd like to ask, any comments, anything about any of the videos already here on the channel, maybe you've been having a look at some of the content and you'd like to ask me some questions about it, then feel free. It's what we're here for. Stacey, yes, the Nordstrand has flat wounds too. Yeah, I thought so. There's a video of the Nordstrand Acinonyx, affectionately titled the Cat Bass. I'll put a link in the description box in case you'd like to check it out. Quite a radical instrument, but really great to play, as I recall. That was about 2 years, actually over 2 years ago that I did that review. So yeah, I think they've sold rather well, judging by Kerry Nordstrand's posts on social media over the past couple of years. But yeah, cool. Now, let's see, where were we leading this today? Yes, the Christmas videos. So if you've got any ideas, maybe if you're looking for bass gift, maybe you are looking for bass gifts to buy another bass player, or maybe you as a bass player are thinking, well, I need something, like maybe your partner or your girlfriend or your boyfriend is asking you, or your husband or your wife, obviously, are saying, oh, is there anything we can buy you for like gadgets and stuff for bass for Christmas? Well, there's going to be a series of videos going up on YouTube Shorts. I guess I'll start it on 1st of December, but I've been filming the content. So basically it's looking at little accessories, patch cables, tuners, we're talking strings, straps, cleaning materials, polishing cloths. Oh God, there's a big long list. There's literally, I filled it out about a week ago. There's 24 items on there. So basically, all the little nicks and knacks that we kind of rely on, clip-on tuners, all that kind of thing, there'll be a video for 24 different products from all sorts of manufacturers and distributors. And the idea is to just give you some helpful ideas to things you might want to ask for, or even if you don't get them for Christmas, but you want to buy them in the sales in January after New Year. Just might give you some ideas. It's, I mean, I'll vouch for the things I'm suggesting. So if there's something that's not very good, it won't be featured. So, but generally all these things I have some experience with, or may even use myself on a regular basis. And I'll give them a hearty recommendation. Stacey, Spectre behind you. Yes, indeed. Spectre Euro LX4. Here, 2008 vintage. Yes, for those Spectre lovers out there. Yes, I have a Spectre. Euro LX 2008. As is, nothing really been changed apart from gold controls. Was never a fan of the black plastic ones. And what else did I change? Oh, got rid of 2 volumes. We've got a pan pot instead. I always prefer that than 2 volumes. It has a tone pump, which is extremely lively, and you've got to rein that fellow in, but otherwise it's great. Not let me down. It's there's a demo video. Have I done the review? No, I haven't done the review video for this yet, but there is a soundbite demo here on the channel. Again, I'll put a link in the description box to it. So yeah, if you want to check that out, feel free. But no, big fan of these, big fan of NS basses generally from Spectre. Always love the NS2 shape. It's, you know, it's musical history. It is what it is, 3D body. Try and do it without bashing the headstock. So you see the curve. Yeah. So there we go. So that's my Spectre. And it does everything a good Spectre should. Very lively, very lively. the tone pump matched with the EMGs is not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. But it's got all the tones you would expect. It sounds great, and that's going to need to go in the workshop. It's going to need a string change very shortly, and a bit of a clean up, a little bit of a tweak. Probably going to give the fingerboard a good clean as well. But yeah, that's the Spectre for you. But that's up there because I was reviewing a Spectre NS Pulse yesterday and filming it, which there will be a soundbite demo and there will be a review video shortly. And I just wanted that in the background while I was doing the filming. So that's why that's there. And then obviously the Empathy behind me, which again, anyone that's watched the bass string experiment, you'll be very familiar with that bass. And probably for quite a few more videos as well. But it needs a little bit of a clean and a polish. It'll get it. It'll get it. But I think we'll be putting up video for gig number 12 tomorrow. I think that's going to be going up tomorrow. Glorious Blue with the gold hardware. Yeah, it looks a winner. It certainly is. That was bought in 2008 when there was a huge sell-off of Spectre basses in the UK to clear the channel to make way for new products. And these basses went very cheaply at the time, far below what they were, what their market price was. And I could have literally had any color I wanted. There were so many. There was a chain of music shops here called Reverb, not to be confused with the online shopping site. This was a chain of music stores here in the UK, and they had to shift loads of Spectre instruments to make way for new stuff coming through. And I always love that blue and gold. I remember seeing it in some promotional brochures and stuff, and blue and gold all worked for me. So yeah. Will you do a video on the clean setup with the Spectre? Highly likely, let's be fair. Yeah, I will do. And annoyingly, I did a big cleanup on it while we were in lockdown. And before I even set up a YouTube channel, I could have done a really good video then, because I gave it a really thorough going over. But I'm probably going to have it out on some gigs soon. So the strings need changing. And while I'm at it, I might as well do everything else and give it a damn good clean and a polish and make it look all lovely. So, and why wouldn't you, frankly? It's a great bass. It really is. Very solid, put it that way. It's not going to fall to bits, that one. But yeah, if I do a video on the clean and setup, it'll be probably along the lines of the Status one, I'd imagine. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a clean and setup video for this Status Empathy before it became part of the bass string experiment. I'll put a link in the description box below. George, evening, sir. Hope you're well. Welcome. Good to see you. Hi there. What happened to Trace Elliot? They were everywhere in the 90s. Hardly see their amps now. Okay, I can give you a history lesson if you'd like one. So Trace Elliot had a US distribution deal, which I think was with Cayman. So that would have been around about the mid-90s. And that was either Cayman got bought by Gibson or Gibson then bought Trace from Cayman. And as with most of these big, huge, monster conglomerate music companies, once they buy them, they run them into the ground, same as Fender did with SWR and Genspens. Gibson did the same with Trace Elliot. Basically ran Trace Elliot into the ground. I don't know what happened to the UK side of the company, but Mark Gooday, who was peripheral to everything Trace Elliot, left and obviously started up Ashdown. And I think, I mean, I'm sure if you Google it, you'll get all the details, but I think Ashdown was either bought out or closed down. Sorry, not Ashdown, Trace Elliot. Brain's pickled today. Trace Elliot was either sold off or run into the ground, and then So you didn't see new product from about 2000, maybe 2000, 2001. And then PV, now get this right, Michael. I think PV bought the UK distribution, something along those lines, because basically Trace Elliott started making amps again here in the UK in 2006. And I know that because I did a review of some of the new gear that came out, 2006, 2007. And it was sold here in the UK through PV. PV were the distributor for it. And then when PV UK ceased being a thing, Trace Elliott became a brand name and was owned by PV in the US. So now the Trace Elliott products you see, like the Elf and the amps, the combos, the Transit A and Transit B pedal preamps, those are PV products, but with the Trace brand name. So kind of that's what happened with that. You could say the same thing about SWR. That was everywhere in the 90s and early 2000s. What the hell happened to SWR? Well, they got bought out by Fender, and basically Fender did their usual thing: buy out the competition, then run them into the ground, use their technology perhaps for some of their products. SWR doesn't exist. Same thing happened with Gensbenz. Bought the company out, took it under the Fender banner, and then just buried it. But yeah, so it's a shame. A lot of really good amplification companies just aren't in existence anymore, because they get bought out for whatever reason and then just get laid to rest, which is a real shame. I have a Gensbenz amp here. Got a Shuttle 9.2, which is fabulous. Really great Class D amp. But it was, I think that came out not too long before they got bought out. It was a real shame. But it's a cracking amp. Got some great features on it. It sounds fab. So yeah, so that's the deal with Trace, I'm afraid. And obviously people complain that the stuff now isn't like it used to be. Well, it can't be. The company isn't there. It's the technology has moved on, and as a business, would there really be enough of a market to buy the old equipment, to buy new equipment styled as per the old equipment? It weighed a ton, and that's why the Trace sound was the sum of the parts. It was those heavy amps and really heavy cabinets, and it was a thing. The Trace sound was a thing, but you can't replicate that if the technology is different. And there's also the matter of physics. It's I've said this quite a lot of times to people in the past. You can't get away from physics. You can have a small box and it can sound loud, but is that going to really convey bass and bass frequencies? Bass needs a big box. It needs something to push air. Until you kind of get into like 2x12 cabinets and then get bigger and bigger and bigger, you're not going to push a lot of bass frequency. You can do certain things with 1x12s, but anything less than that, you're not going to get great bass end. A 1x10, yeah, maybe. You're going to need some PA support there. But the Trace sound was what it was. And I mean, I've got loads of old brochures up there on my shelves of stuff from the 80s. And you look at it, and then you look at the weight characteristic. It was like, oh. And that's why there's a burgeoning second-hand market for it all now. Some people are willing to put up with breaking their backs to carry it. It's the sort of stuff maybe you might use for recording, but maybe not so much on the gigs, because it just weighs a ton. No one's going to help you carry it. So we see equipment come and go. Thanks. Thoughts on traditional Ampeg amps? Ampeg is Ampeg. So if you love that sound, great. I've played so many different Ampeg amps over the years. Not that I've bought, that I've either has been hired in on rehearsals, hired in by sound companies on gigs, and there's never any consistency, unfortunately. And I've played a couple of amps that were just amazing. You think, oh, there is a really great Ampeg amp here. And then another time you'll turn up and there's another one and it is nothing like it. And I just wish Ampeg over the years could have been a little more consistent, but again, these companies change hands, they change ownership, margins are squeezed, people start cutting corners, they might make stuff in different parts of the world where quality isn't so important. You know, I won't slag Ampeg off because I've played some great ones, and I know the guys. Dino, if you're out there, hope you're well. But just consistency, you know. But you can say that about any amp brand, to be fair. You know, there are peaks and troughs in most amplification companies' fortunes, and not everything is the same. Same as basses. Said it before, said it here on the live chats. You can have 10 basses of the same model, off the same production line, of a range, and none of them will sound the same. Some might, chances are most of them won't. And I always take every bass on its merits. I don't assume that if there were 10 of exactly the same model, each one is going to sound the same as I pull them out of a rack. So I've always worked on the basis that if you're presented with a bass, or if there's one of a couple, just take each one on its merits and work with that. And I've always taken that approach when I've done reviews as well. So don't assume you know how a bass is going to sound until you pick it up and plug it in. And a perfect example of that would be here on the channel. You'll find at the moment there's soundbite demos, but there's going to be review videos to go with them. A pair of Harley Benton Marquis basses. When I pulled those basses out of their packing boxes, I thought, oh, here we go. Cheap basses, rock styling, how bad can they be? I will say with my hand on my heart, and annoyingly, I wrote the reviews for Bass Player magazine, and they didn't get published. They were in the queue for being published. I actually found them in my folder the other day as well. They were in the queue to be published and didn't get there before the magazine stopped being a paper-based publication. Hand on my heart, those two basses, the 4-string and the 5-string Marquis, in my opinion, for what that's worth, are the two best value basses on the planet. I've never played two instruments that were so cheap in terms of finance, in terms of their price, that played, sounded, balanced, just great. It's just amazing value for money. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. And I remember saying to my editor, these basses are going to win Gear of the Year next year. Once these reviews are published, they will win Gear of the Year in that price band. But we didn't get that far. So the review videos will be coming out very shortly. I've been working on them past couple of days. And I'm really annoyed because Harley Benton, the company, I'm sure would have loved those reviews, but they just didn't get published, unfortunately. So they're going to get published on here instead. So if you want to check out the soundbite demos, feel free. Harley Benton Marquis, 4-string, 5-string. Amazing. Amazing. I may even go and buy those two basses and do some even more in-depth videos on them, because I'm just astounded by them. For the price, just exceptional. Exceptional stuff. Patrick Sweeney, good evening, sir. Hope you're well. Are you in Australia? I can't remember if you had already gone or you're planning to go. And I hope your sister's doing well. Hope we've got some positive news on that front. So I'll wait for Patrick to update there. George, awesome, thanks. Heard about Harley Benton. Now again, a cheap brand generally. Not everything coming out of Harley Benton is going to be amazing. Or again, the basses I got might well have been the exceptional versions that got sent to us, but you might pick up two other Marquis basses and they're not so great. I did get another 2 Marquis basses for review, literally about 6 to 8 weeks before Bass Player stopped as a paper published publication. One of them was really good, one was pretty average. So again, you don't know what you're going to get, but all I can say is the 2 basses that were presented to me in the Marquis range were exceptional. Patrick, still here. Oz in January. Very good. I bet you'll be pleased for that sort of summer weather when you get out there in January, because you're going to be freezing here. I'd join you if I could, if the option was there. But yes, so that's my experience with Harley Benton. Very good generally. I did an acoustic bass of theirs we did a review of, which really wasn't very good at all. Couldn't keep its tuning in. I think it was short scale. It was a short scale acoustic bass, not good. Then we had the Marquis basses, which were outstanding, as I've said. And then I got these two other basses back in the summer. I think they were both jazz format. I've got the sheets in the review folder over there. One of them just wasn't good. It's like the neck wasn't finished, and it had that kind of balsa wood feel to it, where they just haven't put in the extra mile. The other one, which I think had a nicer finish anyway, but was great, really good. I thought, oh, okay. So again, as with some of the cheaper companies, you can't rely that every instrument is going to be of a certain caliber. So you know, ideally you'd want to go into a shop that had several of the same model and decide which one you were going to pick, rather than order online and just get sent whatever the guy in the factory warehouse puts in the post. But there we go. But they are a perfect indicator that, you know, basses don't have to be expensive or have a cachet to them to be good. Those Marquis basses, again, I took them out of the box and I thought, oh, I know what these are going to sound like. Big mistake. I had no idea. Plugged them in. I was like, whoa, okay. These are really good. Played them. I think I might have taken one out on a gig as well, just to test it on a gig, and it was like pretty good. Running it through my Aguilar setup, it sounded great. But again, you can hear for yourself on the demos, although they're not through an Aguilar setup there, it's just straight into the audio interface. But they were very, very impressive for the price. And actually, I think when I reviewed them, they were around, the 250 mark, £250 mark, from THOMANN in Germany. When I checked them a couple of months back, when these other two models came in, I think the price had dropped to about 185 for the Marquises. I think this is just bizarre. These are just great basses, and they're literally giving them away. Incredible. But there we go. While we're sat here, I really need to give a plug to these guys. So Rocket in Poole, hope you guys are fine and well out there. Thank you very much for my Prince t-shirts. If you're after some Prince merchandise, so for anyone who knows, who's a Prince fan, that's lyrics from a song. Starfish and Coffee. And there's printing on the back as well. Yes, promotion for these guys. They're fabulous. I'll put a link here, and I will put a link in the description box. If you're after any Prince merchandise, they are the place to go. Doesn't matter if you're international and you're outside the UK, they ship internationally. The stuff is great, really good quality, and they work alongside Prince's estate, so it's all official. Hope you're well out there, guys. I will be seeing you on December the 8th when I pop down to Wimborne, when I'm doing an ABBA tribute in a theatre. I will pop in and see you. There's some things I want to buy. So I'll see you then. But they are great, really good. And if you order online from them, the stuff ships really quick. It's all good. So yeah, it's the first time I've worn this t-shirt, so it's a bit staticky at the moment, but all good. Yeah, so if you're a Prince fan, you know exactly what all of this is about. There we go. So I've done a little plug. I don't get affiliate payments for this. It's just great gear. So if you're a Prince fan, well worth checking out. And actually, if you're not a Prince fan, they have merchandise for loads of other bands in there as well. Prince is the main thing, but at the back of the store there are, oh goodness, basically clothes rails all the way along each side and at the back. And they have t-shirts for almost every band on the planet. So if you're after some merchandise for your favourite band, check them out. Rocket from Poole in Dorset here in the UK. They are fab. Stacey Ann, oh, nice going on the Prince t-shirt. Noted that they ship internationally. Yeah, they do. And they're great, really lovely people. I went down there last Christmas, and I've spent a few hours in there, frankly. There was so much stuff and so much Prince memorabilia and just great stuff in there. I could have spent probably 3 times as much as I did, but won't say that. I might do it this year. We'll see. Here we are, Brooks's Base Corner, live chat 28, Tuesday night from 7 o'clock. It's now 7:45. Thank you to everyone who's joining us. Thank you to everyone who has been subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell, liking the videos, commenting on the videos. It's all very much appreciated. It's pushing the channel forward. Everything has got green arrows on it on my analytics screen within the YouTube analytics. So thank you. And I know I've been saying that kind of week on week, but I was expecting a few sort of ups and downs because that's the way the channel kind of generally works. It's all going up. I haven't got any arrows pointing down. I haven't had for about 2 months. So thank you very much, everyone, for getting involved, watching the videos, commenting, liking, disliking as well. Sometimes people don't like certain things on videos and they post a comment and I can reply to it. And either I can explain why it is the way it is and they don't like it. Sometimes put them the rights and say, well, actually, no, there's a reason for that. But it's all good. So if you're new to the channel, if you would care to hit the subscribe button, I'd appreciate it. If you want to get notifications when I post up new videos and I do community posts, there's 3 settings on the notification bell. So you've got none, so you don't hear. You can subscribe to the channel but get no notifications. That's fine. You can have a personalized notification, so you select which things you get notified about. And then there's all. So every time anything gets posted up here on Brooks's Base Corner, you will know about it. You'll get a little notification to say a new video is going up, or there's a post, or whatever. If you're new to live chats, maybe you've never frequented a live chat before. If you're on the mobile app, we've got this video window here. Below is the live chat window. So anything you want to ask, questions about basses, bass guitars, clearly, bass amplifiers, bass speakers, bass effects, bass accessories. You want to talk about any famous bass players, great bands that had great bass players. You want to talk about any of the content here on the channel. Feel free. Put it in the live chat window. As soon as I see the message come up, I'll respond to it. If you're on the desktop version of YouTube, the live chat window is that way. And again, you put in your comments, put in any questions, anything you'd like to ask. This is a 2-way process. So like these fine people, Stacey, George, Patrick, put your questions and comments in that live chat window. I'll respond to them as soon as I see them pop up. You can make financial donations, support the channel. Here in the live chat window, you'll see an emoji icon. You put emojis into the chat. Next to it is a dollar symbol, which allows you to make payments towards the channel. So for all the tools and the equipment for doing the videos, doing the filming, doing the editing, doing the audio work, doing the graphics, buying pieces of equipment for reviews, demos, what have you, buying studio time, cameras, lenses, all of that stuff. Your financial support helps to keep the channel moving on, and it keeps the YouTube algorithm very happy. So any payments you decide you want to make, whether it's to do tonight's live chat or any of the other content here on the channel, it's all very much appreciated. And it all goes straight back into that pot to keep more videos going. I aim on keeping this channel going for the next 25 years if I possibly can. So thank you very much to everyone who has been making donations to the channel. Likewise, if you don't want to do it in the live chat window, but you find other videos here on the channel, and this also goes for any monetized channel here on YouTube, underneath the main video window, you'll see a series of icons. So there's a thumbs up, thumbs down, a share button, a save button. You'll also see a love heart with a dollar symbol in it. That's called super thanks. So within live chats and the live chat window, that's called super chat. for individual videos, it's called super thanks. So basically, say a video helps you fix a problem with your bass or fix a problem with a pedal or an amp, you might just want to say thank you to the content provider for doing a video on that subject. So again, you hit the super thanks button, you can make a donation towards the channel. There's going to be merchandise coming your way, hopefully in January, just finalizing the designs there. There will also be a membership scheme, and I'm just finishing deciding what levels of content are going to be in those different membership levels. So that will be coming in January as well. And then also the big thing for us content creators is in January and February, YouTube is going to suddenly blitz YouTube Shorts. So if you're wondering why there's been so much short content going up on the channel over the past few weeks, I'm kind of building towards that point. The long form content will still happen. I will get a long form video up tomorrow for the bass string experiment series, but basically it's been trying to create as much short form content as possible so it's there ready for the explosion in January and February, but also without necessarily bombarding the algorithm with multiple videos every day. So at the moment I've been doing a video every day rather than like 3 or 4 every day, which would just, the algorithm would go, what the hell's going on? And you wouldn't be able to give a video enough time to breathe within the YouTube algorithm. So and also probably annoy most of you out there if I was putting 4 videos up a day. I know it annoyed me, but yeah, so there we go. I think we're up to date with all the messages. On that note, I'm going to take a quick drink. Just bear with me a moment. Thank you. So yeah, so how is everyone in YouTube land? How are you fabulous bass players? Hope everyone is gigging. I hope everyone is safe and well. I hope you got loads of Christmas gigs coming up. Let's hear where you're playing. Who's playing with who? Patrick, if money was no object, what bass would you buy, Mike? Bearing in mind you already have a very nice collection. Well, the bass I've always wanted, which seems daft because I probably wouldn't use it on any gigs, would be a Series 2 Alembic. However, having 2 Alembics with the larger body, I'm not sure I'd go for the larger body. And I think, no, do you know what? I'd have a Series 2 Alembic with the Series 2 electronics and stuff, but I designed the bass myself. The big body, just, it is what it is. It's big. It's cumbersome. And it's great for Mark King style playing, and you kind of got the bass there and it's not going to be down around your waist. It looks daft around your waist. Look at any disco player from the 70s playing an alembic. I mean, this thing, it's the size of, it's the width of most players. So I would need to redesign the body. And what I would also do is move the bridge back, because it's the position. I'm looking at the 2 alembics I've got. The position of the bridge is what makes the neck length so enormous. You know, it has been remarked about that you'd need to get a taxi to get to the low F on an alembic in the old style, design style. I would pull that bridge along a bit and make it so that it could still be long scale, because I think the tonal benefits are great, but just move it back a bit so it's not so inlaid, because that also affects where your plucking hand rests. So I'd love a Series 2, but to be honest, Patrick, there's so many basses I would love to own. I'm very lucky with what I've got, but there are always things that, kind of growing up, I always thought I'd love one of them, and I'd love one of them, and I could really do one of them. But at so many basses that you think, oh, I've got to have that, and then you play a couple and you think, actually, I don't get it. I don't get it. And for me, a wow fits in that. I've played several and it just hasn't worked for me. But having said that, I wasn't playing with a band in a live situation. That was playing in shops or going, like people were advertising they were selling wows when we didn't really know they were going to go whoosh through the roof. And you could pick wows up for £600-700. And I went to a couple of people who advertised them in Loot back in late 90s, early 2000s, and I played these, but I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not hearing. And here's a perfect example of taking a bass on its merits. And I know other people have tried certain wows and they've gone, I don't know what all the big palaver is. I don't get it. Federa, well, here. Now, I've played really, really expensive Federas. The Matt Garrison Federa, which was like £8,000 or something crazy. And I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. I'm like, I don't get where £8,000 has gone, because I'm not hearing sounds that make me think, oh, that's well worth £8,000. Now, the best Federa I've played, hi Sean P. Bass, welcome. Thank you. The best Federa I've played is the cheapest one I played. And that would have been Bass Direct, I think in 2017 or 2018. There'll be a review in Bass Guitar Magazine and Bass Player. It was a couple of months after. But it was the cheapest Federa I've ever played. I think it was about £3,500. It was the best one I've played. And I was like, whoa, okay, right, this I get. This one I really like. But it was the cheapest one I think they've made. It was like their new Federa budget range, which comes in at about £3,500. But I looked at that price tag and thought, well, there's far better basses I'd rather have than that. But yeah, a lot of the basses that I hankered after as a 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old, when you haven't got the money to sort of buy all these things, the ones I've played left me disappointed. Yet there's been many basses I've played along the way, either as a writer for the magazines or just as a player going in a shop, and suddenly thought, cool, that's really good. And funnily enough, I was asked to write a piece when Bass Guitar Magazine stopped and it became Bass Player permanently, on the 25 best basses I've ever played. There was then a change in direction for what that piece was going to be, even though I had already written out the list of what those basses were. And when I went through it, quite a few of them I own now, and I can say these are some of the best basses I've ever played. But there were quite a few basses there that I thought, God, if I'd had the money then. So in that list, there was a Warwick 5-string that was at Gig Sounds in Streatham Tooting, in 1990. And I remember seeing the advert for it, I think it would have been an issue of Guitarist, I think. I think it went for like £900. It was the time, 1990, a 5-string Warwick Thumb for £900, and it was fab. It was really good. I'm not a huge Warwick fan, but when I play one that I like, I can appreciate it. That was one. There was a Series 2 medium scale alembic that I played, belonged to a guy, I think his name was Frank Black, I think. I might have got the surname wrong. And basically he bought a fully customized, ordered Series 2 alembic, still going through the Mark King phase, I think, at that point, 1992, 93. So all the bells and whistles, I think it cost him something like £8,000 or £9,000 at that time. And he hated it. And he put it in for part exchange at Rock Bottom in Croydon. And Lee Pomeroy was playing it. And the guys did a part exchange on that bass for a Kabiki Factor red one. And I remember going in the shop and that alembic was there. And Lee said, you would love this. I said, yeah, I know I would. But I don't have £2,500 at the time. So it had all the bells and whistles, all the options, medium scale, LEDs, the full Series 2 package, lovely woods. But I didn't have £2,500. I think it was 2,900. I think it was. It was immaculate. So I missed out on that one. I'm trying to think, going through all my various bass adventures over the years. There was a blue Zon that was at the Bass Centre in early 1997 that ended up being sent out. Very much like Dick Nolan's one from It Bites, in that blue kind of blue cobalt finish, and it got sent to Faith No More. I think were appearing on Top of the Pops, and the Bass Centre had to send it to Faith No More so they could do that show. And apparently Billy Gould, I think, kept hold of it for like a year or something, and then it came back to the shop. It didn't look how it had looked when it returned, put it that way. So that was one I missed out on. I used to own Mark King's old Stingray. There was nothing about it that was special because it was Mark's. It was just a great plain Stingray. I kind of wish I'd kept it, but I sold it. I was offered a good price and let that one go. I think what else? Always wanted a really nice Pedala Buzz fretless, the MVPs. Seen a few, maybe I should have bought. And actually, when eBay kind of hit its stride in sort of the early 2000s, there were loads of basses going on there that maybe I should have bought. No one foresaw a lot of the basses going up in price as they have done, but there was a Status Empathy I missed on loot that went for £550, headed in 2001. It was Cherry Sunburst over Quilted Maple, and I missed it by about 5 minutes. So yeah, I rued that one. Sean P. Bass, hi, first time on your channel. Well, you're very welcome, sir. We're all bass players here, so feel free to get involved in the live chat. Anything you care to watch on the channel, it's all there for your enjoyment. Your thoughts on West Tone Thunder basses? Fabulous. Generally, they are really well put together because a lot of them were made in the same factory that the Aria Matsumoku basses came from. And a lot of them were made by the same people that were making the Arias and the same level of woodworking. Just sometimes the electronics weren't the same. So West Tone Thunders, depending on the model, plug it into a good rig. You'll soon know if it's a good one or not. I think there was not a problem, but some of the necks on the through necks had a tendency to go a bit banana-ish, I think, because the wood on those wasn't always as seasoned as the timbers that were being used for the Arias. But that's not every bass, that's just some of them. But generally, West Tone Thunders, yeah, I can go with those. George, heading out of work. Thanks for the show. See you again soon. Thank you for attending, sir. You're always welcome. You know that. Hope you have a good day at work. But yes, West Tone Thunders, Sean. Yeah, go. If you're thinking of buying one, I would always go and test it because a lot of those West Tones are either 40 years old or heading towards being 40 years old. Check them before you buy them because, again, neck issues, electronic issues, dry joints on circuit boards. Speak to the thousands of Aria owners with SBs and basses of that ilk who've had to replace pickups and circuit boards because dry joints, just age of components, kind of, yeah. So yeah, Patrick, going back to your thing, trying to think what else I'm trying to think what else did I really want. This is the thing, I've sat in the bass centre in Wapping and tried every bass hanging on the wall. Trying to think. Actually, Alex Carter might appear. Sometimes Alex sort of drops in here, the bass ranger. And Alex used to work at the bass centre before he worked at the gallery in Camden. Alex has bought more custom basses than I've had socks in my life. He's had everything. And usually he'll buy a model, sell it, have 20 other basses, and then come back to that model and buy another one. And he's had some crackers, I can assure you. Unfortunately, doesn't usually keep them. Has them for a couple of months and then sells them on, which is a shame. Henry Thomas, Patrick. Henry Thomas used the West Tone Thunder on the Old Rock School TV show. Yes, he did. And he had some lovely basses. He had, I don't think it was a wow. It was like a custom G&L. I wonder if you remember it had 2 humbucking pickups. I'm not sure. He did have a wow, but there was also like a Music Man Fenderish spin-off bass. I think it was Natural Finish. And there's an episode where he tries to do some Billy Sheehan tapping. That bass sounded great. But he had some lovely gear on there, let's be fair. But it was the time, you know, the 80s. There was loads of nice bass exotica to get your hands on. Not that there isn't now, there is, but at that time it was all kind of new and interesting. But yeah. So I'm just trying to think, Patrick, what else have I... See, I'm looking at a Lakeland that I've got here. I've got a Lakeland Skyline. I'll put it out for the rat worth a look. Now, as nice as this is, and yes, it's a bit of a looker, and it plays great, and I love it. It's great. Alex Carter had a 5-string Lakeland in the summer of 1998. Now, I don't know if it was made for Pino Palladino. It could well have been, and he didn't want it and put it in for part exchange, or Alex bought it off him, or Alex was showing it to me and it had come into the bass centre as an order to go to Pino Palladino. But anyway, this was the first 5-string Lakeland I'd ever seen, and it played like butter. I couldn't believe it. It left a real impression on me. I was like, wow, that is really something. He said, yeah, these are good, aren't they? And at that time, Lakelands was only just starting to appear. They were really sort of creating a buzz. And that went into my 25 best basses that I've ever played. It was just outstanding. And I remember saying, Alex, why didn't you keep it? He said, well, I just didn't really play 5-string. It's like, well, why did you buy it? Why did you buy it? But it was, I mean, just outstanding for years. And even now, that's what I'm saying, probably the best 5-string I think I've ever played. But this one's great. Bought this a couple of years ago while we were in lockdown. It's got a lovely finish. I love that. Not that heavy either, but it really does play great. Got a little problem with the string tree here. The screws kind of forced its way out of the wood with the sort of up force of these strings because they're a little chunky, but that's okay. Patrick Sweeney, I had a JD Series 1 offered to me when I was in my early 20s. Unfortunately, I could just about afford to put fuel in my old banger of a car to get to gigs. Mate, I had a JD and I got it for, now you're going to love this, £275 in 1998 because they weren't flavour of the month back then. And I remember Bassist doing an issue on JDs. It was the same month that I found this one. I found it in Loot. I went round to the guy's place to play it, not knowing that he'd swapped the preamp circuit out. And I remember thinking, I'm sure JD sounded a bit better than this. But I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I looked at it and I thought, well, 275 quid, yeah, okay. We didn't really have the internet big time then, and I didn't get internet at home for about another year. Had I done, I would have just got straight in touch with JD and said, can you put the circuit, the correct circuit in this? What the previous owner had done was whip the electronics out, put that into a bass that he was keeping, and just put this, I mean, it was a joke of a circuit board. I mean, it really was. And he stuck that in this, in the JD. In the end, I think I ended up getting a EMG circuit from the bass center in there. Pickups were right, but the fingerboard was splitting. So the ebony was splitting as the two sides were pulling apart. And I spent more time adjusting the neck than I ever did playing the thing. Literally, every time you take it off the wall to try and play it, you'd have to set the thing up. And it just moved constantly. And I rang JD up, so that would have been 99, I think. And I said, if I give you the serial number, can you tell me when this bass was made? So they had loads of people there building JDs, and some people just didn't do a great job, sadly. And some of the wood was rushed through. You know, they had to fit to deadlines and get products in the shops and orders, fulfilling orders. And this bass was just all over the place. And they did say there was a period in about 86, 87 where some of the instruments just weren't as good as they should have been. And I think this was one of them. So I had to sell it on. It was awful. And it was a bad experience because I've had people say to me since, you know, have you thought about getting a JD? It's like, I don't want to go back down that road. I'm really sorry. I've got other basses and I love those JD sounds on the Level 42 albums up to the point that Mark stopped using them. But Every time I hear a JD now, it just don't sound that great to me. I think I've got better sounding basses, to be honest. And also they're big, a little cumbersome, not unlike the Alembics. And I've got Alembics, so yeah, JD just doesn't appeal anymore. As much as I love Mark's tone and all that, and they're lovely looking instruments, but I had one and I tried using it in my covers band. It just didn't fit. Just didn't fit at all. Even though, I mean, everyone looks at them and thinks they're humbuckers. They're not. They're split P pickups, like 2 precision pickups, just in humbucker housing. So you get that thump, that kind of precision sound, but twice. So you, obviously one at the bridge, one at the neck. But and I know you can have the humbuckers put in there now, because I think he upgraded the pickup design in about 2002. Because when I went into the bass centre to put that bass on a part exchange or commission sale, sorry, Alex actually said to me, "Oh, you know, you should get the new pickups put in here." I said, "I just want rid of it. The neck's just too problematic." Never seen it come up since. So maybe someone took the EMG circuit out and replaced it with a proper JD circuit. I don't know, but yeah, it was just awful. Just really put me off. It was a Series 2 with the slap groove. It was just awful, and it's just so demoralising because you wanted a JD to be really great, and it just really wasn't. It didn't seem, no matter what gauge strings I put on it, that neck just would not sit properly at all. You put a set of 3090s on, it's almost like you could see the neck starting to start to curve, and it was like, oh, here we go, another day of that. So then you do the truss rod, and you just thought at some point, this is all going to split and crack because I'm putting so much on this. Put some heavier strings on it, tried some 4000s, still bending. Put some 4505s, it was still bending, at which point I thought, I'm not on a losing battle here. There's just some basses that it ain't going to work. So I got rid. That was that. But this Lakeland's lovely, I have to say. Can I show you the back? Yeah. It's got some really nice figuring, and it sounds great, and it plays great. And I've got rotor sound half wounds. I think these are called the pressure wounds, because the pickups are pretty bright on this, and I just wanted to give them a try. And these strings seem to work really well with this bass, I have to say. And I love the fact you can get into the circuit here, and there are dip switches for the mid EQ, so you can pick the frequencies that stuff is being boosted and cut at, which is great. But yeah, really good, really good. What's this? I think this is a Indonesian one. I think this was, I think I did try and check. I think it was about 2007, maybe 2008. I think. Yeah. She's a cracker. Lovely. How can you not like that? There we go. There we go. Grab a quick drink. See what the messages are saying. Oh, I'm up to date. So tell me, people, where you're playing. Let us know where your gigs are at. We've got Christmas coming. There's lots of gigs about to happen. Let's know where you're playing. Doesn't matter, doesn't have to be UK based. We got anyone overseas wants to tell us where their gigs are? It'd be great. Fill us in. Let us know what the gigging scene where you are is like. It's all good. Okay, we've been going an hour and a quarter. My goodness, the time does fly. Welcome, this is Brooks's Bass Corner. I'm Mike Brooks. This is live chat number 28. Tuesday evenings, 7 o'clock. Have to say, next Tuesday's one may get moved. So it might be a little earlier or a little later. We may even move the day because the football's on. I know loads of you don't follow the World Cup or football, and that's cool. But I have to try and make sure I've got viewers here. And England are playing Wales next Tuesday. So I probably won't get any English people watching the live chat. So unless I can guarantee I've got a certain number of viewers from around the world, it'd be a bit daft for me to try and do it. So either we'll do it earlier, later, or I'll move the day. Just keep an eye on the channel, keep an eye on the community page, keep an eye on the social media. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I will let you know. I will also update the description box for this video. So if you go on the channel looking for this video, it will say if I've moved it. I just need to plan when. So leave that with me. I'll sort it. Sean, P-Base, another question. Fire them away, mate. As many questions as you've got, it's all good. I had a Yamaha, teeth in. A Yamaha RBX 800, very good bass, yeah, passive in the 80s. Bought it new then. Any thoughts on these? Liking your channel, by the way. Well, thank you, sir. Pleasure. Yeah, the RBX 800s. Well, I mean, Yamaha produced so many basses, so many ranges. It starts to, it's hard to keep track of them all. And over the years, they've done so many variations on a theme, and sometimes then they'll discontinue a range and then come back to it a couple of years later. The RBXs were great basses for their price range. They really were. And actually, Yamaha passive basses generally, sometimes a company might do an active and a passive, and the passive is seen as like the poor relation. I wouldn't say that with any of the Yamahas. Usually they incorporate really good pickups. So even if it's a passive bass, it's usually got a lot of punch, have good bass delivery, usually pretty good mids. The thing you would start to lose out on is if you were a bit of a slap monster, you might find you'd really want to have an active EQ so you can get some of that treble, some of that glassiness. But it depends what you're using the bass for. I mean, I certainly wouldn't look at a Yamaha RBX 800 and think it's not very good. Sales would prove me wrong anyway. That was one of the most popular basses at that time, as far as I can remember. And that RBX series, I think they're still going now, I think. And if they're not, they do bring them back occasionally. So no, you know, any Yamaha bass generally, in my experience, has been pretty good. There's been one or two that weren't great. I've got you may have seen on the channel, it's one of the most viewed videos here. Again, I'll put a link in the description box. The BB235. So I have this. I really should get it back to Yamaha. I've had it for nearly 2 years, I think. So you may have seen the video for this bass. In it, you will see there's a little section where I complain about the hardware. So basically, we've got a tuner here. I think it's the low B. It is the low B. Okay, if you haven't watched that video, I extol the virtues of this bass. I think it's great for the price. Okay, it's the cheaper end of the BBs, 5-string, long scale, really nice to play, well finished, it's all good. And then you get to the hardware. So, if I play it, you can hear it. Oh, or maybe not. What's making that go? Thank you. Here's what's happening, right? So, can you hear that? I don't know. Someone, Stacey, if you're watching, tell me. So on most of these machine heads, I'm getting amazing amounts of string rattle. Yeah, as soon as I hold that, that will go, right? So here's without me holding the machine head. Right, the low B's the killer. Okay, now if I hold it. It's fairly obvious, isn't it? And so that was the disappointment. But otherwise, this bass is great. It plays really great, it's comfortable. It's not so big and fat on the neck that you just think, oh God, it's hard work. It's actually... But the hardware, the tuners, are sadly lacking. Not their strong point. They didn't have a good day that day. Here we go. No, they would be getting changed. But otherwise, a really nice bass and great value for money. It's just a shame about the tunes. Sorry, Yamaha. And you know I love your basses because I've reviewed plenty of them. But there we go. Not to worry. But that needs to go back to Yamaha soon, actually. I've had that way too long. Patrick Sweeney, charity gig this Sunday for my sister. Very good. Then every week up until Christmas with functions and so on. That's what I like to hear. Busy bass player. Yeah, I'm actually quite busy. I've had a few cancellations and New Year's Eve. So last year, aside from the year before, because of COVID, we couldn't do New Year's Eve. Last year was the first New Year's Eve I haven't had a gig since 1998. Omicron ruined it. I was meant to do a Queen tribute in West Wales, and because of the Welsh government deciding nothing was going to happen in Wales, I couldn't do anything about it, and our gig got cancelled. And this year I've had 2 gigs in for New Year's Eve, and now neither of them are happening. So at the moment, no New Year's Eve and a bunch of empty diary dates. So there we go. There's still time. Things might come in. We will see. Hopefully some stuff will come in. But if it doesn't, then I'll just be producing more YouTube content, which is all good for you fine people out there. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is Brooks's Bass Corner. We're live chat tonight. It's live chat 28. Live chat window is here. If you're on the mobile app, well, I say it's here. It's on my laptop in front of me. If you're on the mobile app, it's underneath the video window. If you're on desktop, it's that way. So feel free to put your comments, questions. You might want to ask something about bass guitars, bass amplifiers, bass speakers, bass effects, bass accessories. You want to talk about your favorite bass players, bass playing legends, bass bands with great bass players. You might want to talk about some great albums. Anything here on the channel that you might have watched, any of the videos or the video series that are here. Any of the interviews. Anything you'd like to know about the interview. You might have listened to one of the interviews or watched one of the interview videos and gone, was that really what happened? Oh no, I was there. So yeah. So some of you might have seen some of the YouTube shorts featuring the sort of extracts from the Billy Sheehan interview from last July 2021. There's so much good stuff in there. It would be rude not to make some YouTube shorts and take out the prime cuts, so to speak. So those have been going up over the past couple of weeks. And I've been doing that with a couple of the review videos as well, where you can take out certain sections. YouTube have created a very handy tool that allows you to make a short from a section of a long form video. It's very handy. I wish they'd done that about 2 years ago. It would have been really good. And that's helping me create a lot of my short form content at the moment. But tomorrow I've got, once I've got the string video up, I've got some filming to do for YouTube Shorts. There's a load of things I need to get done so they're ready to fly for December. So busy old day tomorrow. Yes, it is. I can see some numbers there. I can see people watching. So very welcome wherever you are in the world. Morning, afternoon, evening, could be the middle of the night. I hope you're safe and well. Run up to Christmas. It's coming. It's coming. And Visog, good evening. Welcome. Good to see you. Hope you're well. See, I always know after 8 o'clock, we start at 7 and I'll get the usual suspects. And then as we get past 8 o'clock, then the sort of the family begin to appear. It is like Christmas, isn't it? It's like you stand there cooking for 3 hours and then all the family appear for the last 20 minutes. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, sir. So yes, so that's kind of that. Now, when we get past Christmas, obviously there's a lack of gigs here in the UK for people like myself. There's going to be a real mass rollout of content because I've got time on my hands to be able to do it. So if you've got any ideas on things you would like to see, perhaps you've seen products that might be about to be launched at NAMM. Maybe there's some things caught your eye on various websites and bass forums. Let me know. because I then need to get in touch with companies for new material for reviews here on the channel. And it's prime time for people like myself, content creators, to go to the companies and say, look, we want to do some videos on this, and this. Can you send review product? So if there's something out there that you're interested in, please let me know. Because there's no point me producing videos that no one wants to watch. I need to know what you guys want to see. Stacey, yeah, nice to be one of the usual suspects. You have lifetime membership. That's it. Usual suspects. You know what I mean. The regulars. It's like going down the pub. It's like Cheers, isn't it? Same 5 people at the bar. There we go. You know I appreciate all you viewers, you know. So that will be, I think, January time. It'll be quite quiet work-wise. So, yeah, that's the time for channels like this to approach the companies for their new products. And obviously, where we've had COVID, and then I guess even start of this year, people were still like, we were still coming out the back end of that. There were new products, but there wasn't the big splash and the splurge that we usually get because of NARM. I think NARM is in April next year, but the companies will be gearing up for that. What they will also want to do is have their products placed in videos that are going to get quite a lot of window space, if you like, before they get the big launch. So it's a good time. So if there is something I've already got my radar on looking at what the new products coming out after Christmas are going to be. It is just like Cheers, Stacey. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Didn't NARM used to be late January? Yes, it did. Up until 2020, and including 2020, it was. And that was the last one. And quite a lot of the people that went to NARM from the UK, some of whom wrote for the magazine, some of them manufacturers, distributors, I suspect some of them brought COVID back with them. They didn't know they had it because we didn't have tests. But loads of people came back from that January 2020 NARM saying they felt like death on earth. Sadly, that's exactly what that virus does. So yeah, but I think what they've done is they've staggered NARM next year for April, and then it will return to January the year after, is what I read a couple of months back. So yeah, so I need to start contacting the various companies for product and stuff for review. So if there's something that interests you, let me know. Have you ever tried, Patrick Sweeney, have you ever tried the Neural Quad Cortex pedal, and what do you think of those Helix-like pedals? P.S. I was in the pub before I got on. Good boy. I haven't tried the Neural Quad Cortex pedal. What do I think of those Helix-like pedals? Well, I did have a Helix Stomp here during lockdown for about a month, and I really loved it. I thought it was great. But it was very geared towards guitar, which is fine. That's fair enough. It was very hard on that Stomp box. You had to do your editing at home. You just wouldn't be able to make adjustments on the fly on a live gig, I didn't think. And that's why I always prefer to have pedals, because I can do it until it sounds how I want it to sound. So with all the Helix stuff, and I know guitarists have, I was working with one on Friday who knows how to go into every little detail on a Helix and change this and change that and I can always refer back to that story I regaled a week or two ago, where I bought the PV bass Vex, set it all up, had all my presets, and then got it on a gig, and it was just nowhere. Couldn't hear it. Couldn't hear any of the effects. Pointless. For guitarists, it's different. You're in a different frequency space. With us, with bass frequencies, the Helix is great. I love the fact technology has gone that way. But I just think on something that small with the Helix Stomp, it's just too fiddly to be able to manipulate it quickly on the fly. The bigger version with the rack mount and the bigger pedal, yeah, you can do what you like. But no, I have no experience of the Neural Cortex pedal. I could ask for one for review and do it, but it's one of those videos like you could probably do 100 videos and you're still only scratching the surface of what it can do. And then people would switch off. They're not going to watch it. So, and probably I don't work in the sort of bands where I'm going to get the most out of that. If I'm honest, I think it would just sap my time. To be honest, I've got so many other things going on in my life. I haven't got the brain space or the attention span to sit there and go into every nuance of what that can do. I really applaud those people that do. And if they can make it work for the work they do, great, cool. Visog, do you think manufacturers will hold back new models to the later show? I don't know. I couldn't tell you, really. When you say the later show, do you mean the one in 2024? I presume you're talking about NAMM being in April. So is there another? I think there is going to be 2 shows, isn't there, next year? NAMM is April. I think it's April. I can't check. This laptop would be too slow for me to check. But I don't know. I don't know if they're going to hold back new models, to be honest. I think... I mean, let's be fair. During lockdown, there wasn't a whole lot of new product came out. But as over the past 12 months, I'd say things are getting back to normal. So I would imagine stuff will start appearing through January, February and March. I don't honestly think people will wait to unveil. I don't think people have got the profit margin space to be, the world is heading for a recession. And I think they just need, dollars in the bank, really. So maybe stuff will come out once. I think releasing stuff before Christmas, there's never that much. Everything gets left till after, but that could well be because of NAMM historically being in January. Simple answer, I don't know. Sorry. Sean, I've swapped and changed many Fender Squier bass bodies and necks over the years. Some nice, some not so nice. Understood. Do you have personal experience of doing this yourself, mainly passive stuff? I have experience of fixing Squiers. I'm not a huge modder, although I do have basses here, like my Stingray over there has got an Aguilar pickup and the John East Music Man circuit in it. I don't tend to buy stuff and then mod it myself. If I've got a bass that needs something adding, I'll buy the bits and then take it to the gallery. I'm not an electronics and pickup kind of guy. And you'll see any of the workshop stuff I do, and anyone asks me to do stuff for their basses and their guitars, I always say I don't do electronics or pickups, because you got to get in there and find out what you're dealing with before you take the job on. And also it can become a real, pardon my French, an arseache. I've had basses that have had electronic problems and the people fixing it have just gone round and round in circles, can't get to the bottom of it, and I don't want those sort of jobs. I like making things look better and play better, but I don't tend to mod. But I have done setup work and sort of cleaning stuff and trying to make Squiers and Fenders play better. I'm just reading your message again. For example, the guy who runs Uncle Funk, which is the disco show band I play in, he runs like a rock school project for kids. I guess it's for kids. I don't know. There might be some grown-ups there as well. I don't know. And he has a bunch of basses, and over the past sort of year and a bit, he's asked me to sort of set them up and clean them up and do this and do that, and this bit's hanging off and that needs mending. And there will be a short going up, and actually probably some stuff on Instagram as well, Facebook. I took a load of shots and some videos when I fixed his Squier. When that bass came to me, I didn't look at the fingerboard. I just picked it up and played it. It played great. It's everything a good Squier P bass should be. When I got it in the workshop, I should have put a hazmat suit on. The fingerboard was disgusting. I've never experienced. I've seen photos of bad fingerboards. This was horrendous. I swear there were things crawling out of the bits of the wood on the rosewood board. And if I showed you the photo, well, if I do this video, you'll see it. It was absolutely disgusting. And I literally took the strings off, broke that bass down into bits, and rebuilt it back up without really doing. I didn't have to buy anything to replace. Oh no, there were a couple. I need to put a new tone control on, so I did that. Clean the neck up, polish it, get the frets right, clean the fingerboard, clean the body with this Crema Carnauba wax. When I pulled the pickups out, the foam had long since gone. Basically, the pickups were being, because the screws didn't work either, the pickups were being supported by pieces of paper. The screws had stopped working long ago, so replaced those, sorted the bridge out, gave all of that a good oil and lubrication, changed the strings, polished the body up, cleaned it all up. Had to do a new neck shim. The old one was a bit of paper, and it was like, well, that's not shimming anything, is it? So I got a thin bit of card. Actually, I tried it with a bit of an old credit card. It was too thick, so I got sort of a thick piece of card, cut it to shape, got that in there. That did the job. One of the machine heads, because he was saying, oh, I think you're going to need to buy a new machine head. And I was like, okay. So it was an elephant ear, heavy duty affair. And actually what it was the elephant ear part of it had bent over and just need to be gripped with some pliers and put back. But it was being held in place by a bit of blue tack. So I threw the blue tack away, got the thing back in line so it's in line with all the other tuners, then clamped it and really sort of compressed it so it's back together so it was solid again. So he didn't need a new tuner. That was all he needed. And once it was all done, and again, if I do this video, you'll see it, the body is gleaming as good as it can. The fingerboard looks like it's just come out of the factory. And when I gave it back to him, he went, oh my God. Oh, it's like a different bass. I said, well, that's what happens when you look after them, when you clean them up and give them a polish and do all the bits and bobs that they need to have done to them. And it was great. It played great, sounded great, but it just looked a piece of crap. And it had big dings and gouges. But it's a bass for people to play, to find out what playing bass is. So no one looks after it. But the state of the fingerboard was just a disgrace. I tell you, it was like something out of biblical times. It was just horrible, horrible. But yeah, so that's my story of the last Squire bass that I cleaned up. But yeah, I don't tend to sort of buy necks and bodies, and I've got too many other things here that I like that are matched, and you know, all that caper. I'm sure if I got bored, I could do it. But yeah, I've known a lot of guitarists that do that, constantly buying bits and trying to make their super bass, and invariably it's like they still end up selling them on or stripping them back for parts and trying something else. I can't be arsed with that. There's not enough time. I struggle getting everything done every day as it is. I don't have time to sit there piecing bodies and necks together. And invariably, with my luck over the years, I'd end up with a body that was full of termites and a neck that became like a banana boat. That would be my luck. So I just can't be bothered with that. So there, I hope that answers that for you. Here we are. Let's see, where are we? 20 to 9. So we've been going just over an hour and a half. This is Brooks's Bass Corner live chat number 28. We do this every Tuesday, 7 o'clock here in the UK. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you're safe, hope you're well, hope life's treating you really good. If you've not been here before, then feel free, you're more than welcome. Feel free to watch any of the videos here on the channel as you wish. Please, if you feel inclined to do so, hit the subscribe button below. Hit the notification bell so you get notifications when I post up new videos. If you'd give the video a thumbs up, that would be very grateful. I'd be very grateful, sorry. It would be wonderful. If you wish to make a financial donation to the channel, you don't have to, it's free. But if you wish to do so, which pays for equipment to do the videos, it pays for the purchase of pedals and leads and amplifiers and cabinets and basses and strings and various accessories for doing all the videos. You can do that via the super chat here in the live chat window, or you can do it via the super thanks, which is the love heart with a dollar symbol underneath this video with the thumbs up, thumbs down, share, save icons. So it's there. Literally click on that, make a donation, and the channel keeps going. That's the idea. Let me think, what do I need to tell you? So if you've got any questions about basses, bass amplifiers, bass speakers, bass effect pedals, accessories, anything to do with bass guitars, if any of your gear broken, you need to ask some advice before you take it to the shop, get it fixed. If you want to ask anything about strings, you want to ask anything about setting up a bass, maybe you're trying to start a new project bass and you don't know what a good combination of parts might be, ask me, I might know. If there's anything here on the channel you'd like to ask about, any of the review videos, the demo videos, the workshop videos, anything to do with the Essential Bass Albums series, the 3 Great Things on series that's on YouTube Shorts, any of the interviews, maybe some of the interviews are with people you really like, and you'd like to go a little deeper into some of the questions that I ask them, feel free, that's what we're here for. So the live chat window, if you're on the mobile app, is below here, below the video. If you're on the desktop app, it's that way. Just put your questions, your comments in there. As soon as I see them pop up, I'll reply to them. Just need to tap on here, make sure we're up to date. I think we're up to date. So you are more than welcome. It's a pleasure having you here, and thank you to all the new subscribers, the new viewers, the new consumers of the content here on the channel. Everything is going green in my analytics, which means we're going up. It's all positive at the moment. So subscriber numbers are up, viewing numbers are up, likes are up, comments are up, watch time, percentage view duration, it's all going up. Everything is in green here on the channel, so thank you. Well, without you guys I can't do it, so otherwise I'm just making videos and no one watches them, but you guys do, so you know, I really appreciate that. So here we are, almost 2.5 years in, and we're going great guns. It's all good. Loads of long form content is stockpile, ready to go. I think the next long form video will be up tomorrow, which will be gig number 12 in the bass string experiment series. And we've got YouTube shorts going up every single day. If you don't know what they are, there's a playlist. I will put it in the links below. And Sean, you're off, are you? Thanks for all the info. See you next week. Yep, take care, mate. Thank you very much for attending. Thank you for your questions. Patrick Sweeney, despite all the money we may spend on basses with fancy electronics, do you think our tone is essentially in our fingers? No, I don't. No, I don't. And my experience with GB basses tells me that, because you got me off on one now. This could be a long old rant. No, I think our tone is the sum of the parts. So you got to take everything into consideration. So it's the strings, it's the pickups, it's the electronics, it's the hardware, it's the anchoring points of the strings. I've seen, okay, right, there's a couple of examples here. So I've got some lovely GB basses, as you know, and they have great electronics in from Bernie, and he developed them over years and what have you. Bernie used to have some demo basses that were just made from offcuts, and they didn't really leave the workshop. Yeah, if you put one, you know, you looked at it and go, really? Just loads of offcuts all glued. And yet, as soon as he put that electronics package in that bass, it sounded amazing. It sounded absolutely amazing. Yeah, if you took it out, just put passive pickup in or a different circuit, it didn't. So I know that certain circuits, certain electronics packages can make a very huge difference to how a bass sounds. Okay, then my next point of reference. when I went to the Warwick bass school thing about 6 years ago, went to the Warwick facility. They had 2 basses there, which were identical cuts of wood from the same tree, just one from one part of the tree and one from the next part of the tree. Exactly the same hardware, pickups exactly the same, circuit exactly the same, same strings, weighed the same. Everything about them couldn't have been more identical unless you could physically replicate the piece of wood that both of them were made from. They hooked them up to the scanner. He played, one of the guys there played the strings, and you could see the spike, you could see the sound waves. They were different. So that, I think, always backs up my point that every bass is different. But also the fact that those sounds were coming from those sums of the parts. So your fingers don't change, although your calluses might, and obviously as you grow up from being a kid into an adult, your density of your fingers might change and get fatter fingers and fatter hands. But clearly there was something about those basses that made them sound how they sounded. Well, it's not your fingers that have changed, it's what's in that bass. It's that circuit, it's those pickups, that hardware, that combination of timbers. So you can essentially sound like you on any instrument, but isn't that more to do with the notes you're playing and how you phrase them than the actual tonality of the bass you're playing? Does that make sense? I don't know. Reply to me, Patrick. Let me know. You take this as far as you want, so I'm quite happy to discuss it. Saul Watson, evening, sir. You all right? Hope you're well. I agree with Patrick. Most of our tone, I think you meant, comes from our fingers. You and I have been lucky enough to see Billy play face to face, unplugged, and he still sounds like Billy. Yes, he does. But that's acoustically, that's to do with what he's playing, isn't it? If we gave Billy Sheehan a GB or an alembic, yes, it would sound like him in terms of how he plays and what he plays, but the actual tone, I can't imagine Billy Sheehan sounding as we know him with a Yamaha attitude, sounding like that if I give him one of my GBs, because my GBs don't sound like that attitude acoustically. There's something about the attitudes, the neck, the timbre, then electronically what you get into with what the pickups are doing and the switching. There's a certain grind that comes off that neck. So let me get the bass off the wall and we know what we're talking about. Bear with me, people. So I could probably do an acoustic demo, although the strings on this are a bit old, so just bear with me a minute. I don't know if it's in tune, it might be. So we have this with bones, of course. So this neck is a little like a baseball bat. It's not quite as much as the Mike Dirnt bass, but it's got a real grind to it. I don't know if it's in tune. It's close. Oh, it's close. Okay, it'll do. So it's got a real lively, snarly bite to it, which really comes out when you plug it in. These strings are quite dead as well. I haven't changed them in ages. But... right, so that's that. Now let me pick up one of my other basses. Just bear with me a moment. I just need to stick this in a stand. So bear in mind, we're not plugged in. So all you're hearing is the strings are different as well, and these are newer strings. So if I pick up a GB, so there's no electronics that you're hearing here. This is just acoustically. Now you tell me you tell me. So that was the attitude. So this is the GB. So yeah, so that's that. Saul, can I borrow your monosynth at some point? Might be a bit tricky. It's on my Uncle Funk board at the moment, so that's probably not going to be possible, I don't think. But if I know I'm not going to use it for a while, I'll let you know. But it's on my board now. Patrick Sweeney, turn that round the other way. Two people play the same bass. They sound different. That might be what you said. Yeah, it will sound different because of the way those people play. But taking your first one, which said, we may spend on basses with fancy electronics, do you think our tone is essentially in our fingers? Our fingers contribute a tone because it's the first point of contact with the string. There is then what we play and how we play. The guitar is purely a tool, in my mind, to convey what's going on here, here, and here. So, based on the fact that most of the basses in my collection all sound very different, the way I see it is you pick the bass to create the sounds that you need to create. So it's a bit like a builder picking up a drill. How can I put it? It's a bit like having a drill to drill holes in graphite. You'd get a different drill if you were drilling into wood. So that's the way I kind of see that. That's my take on it, I think. Yeah. But clearly, the way I play and the sound I get from my fingers is going to be different from anyone else. You can copy what I play, but you might not have necessarily the nuance of tone. Like I might hold a string on, or one of the things I know I do anyway automatically is I will play and I'll put vibrato on the note. Not all the time. It might be if I'm trying to emphasize it or enforce the sustain of that note. But that would be my point. But I don't claim to be a know-all on this. I really don't. That's just my take on it. Which is why I've always thought every bass player is different. You get people who can, can do great copying of other people. And certainly as a adept and doing lots of different work I do, I have to copy lots of stuff that isn't necessarily what I would do. But rather than turn it into me doing my version of it, like doing the tribute stuff, all the work's been done. I'm just copying how the originals were played. Sometimes that wouldn't be how I would play it. Certainly there's some songs in the Queen back catalogue that I think, odd way of playing it, but that's what it is. And who am I to argue? They've got millions of pounds in the bank. But I'm kind of losing my point here. Yeah, so I wouldn't expect anyone to be able to copy me and play it the way I play it, because it might not be the way you would naturally play it. But certainly what's coming from there, and what's coming from there is unique to each person. We can all play the same notes, but it can be how you play it, the context of playing it. But the electronics packages and all of that, I'm very happy to take every bass on its individual merits. That's again why I've got quite a few basses here. I don't have one bass that covers everything, and I realised quite early on it's very hard to do that. I don't think a bass exists that does all the things that if you are a working bass player and you're not in one band. Like very easy if you're in one band for 20 years or 30 years. I know a couple of guys on the covers circuit who've been with their bands over 20 years. They've got their sound, they've probably still got the same bass they had 20 years ago. Unfortunately, I don't work in that context anymore. I did. I played in one band for 17 years. But I was doing loads of things with other bands, other depths, doing the tribute thing. And you kind of need the tools to do the job. You know, my status doesn't sound like the Mike Dirnt Fender Precision that's here on the wall. So I couldn't turn up to a Green Day gig with that. Or I could have done it with a Spectre, been far too high tech for Green Day. It's like I couldn't use that on a Green Day gig. You know, it's got to be that. It's that sound. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers that one. So I went off in a bit of a ramble there. Saul, I think for the monosynth, they aren't particularly expensive. I think they're 100 quid. Just track one down in a store and go and try it. Would be the best way. But again, they're not that pricey, or they weren't. I think they were about 125 quid 3 years ago. Or you pick one up second hand. But yeah, no, my monosynth, my EHX monosynth, that's the box, the pedals on the board. That's just window shopping. So yeah. So here we are. Been nearly going 2 hours here. I don't think we're quite going to reach the marathon lengths of 2 weeks ago when we did 3 hours and 20 minutes, which was, that was a lengthy chat that night. I think my voice was going at the end, but not to worry. This is Brooks's Bass Corner, live chat number 28, Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock. We've got 2 more weeks, and then we take a rest from these regular Tuesday evening chats. But during December, there's going to be some impromptu live chats. So basically, when I'm out on gigs, at sound checks, or backstage, or sitting in the car, or, well, what's the other options? Sitting having dinner, I guess. There'll be some impromptu live chats. So if you want to be sort of know when they're happening, because they do happen impromptu. Sometimes I have no clue that I'm going to do it until about 10 minutes before I do, but I have to make sure there's a good Wi-Fi connection. So if you want to know those are happening, it's important that you hit the notification bell. And I guess subscribe. I don't know if the notification bell works if you don't subscribe. I don't know. But certainly you'll need to hit the notification bell and select all, and then you'll know. So as soon as I know I'm going to do a live chat, I'll announce it on the community page, put it on the social media, and away we go. So you'll know when those are happening. And we did a couple of those, oh God, the weeks fly by. 2-3 weeks ago, I was away doing a couple of Queen tribute shows, and we did one at Soundcheck at a venue in Lincoln. And then we did another one, we're just hanging around a hotel. The following day at St George's Park, which is the hub of the England football team, and we did a live chat there, and we had some good old chats both of those days. So thank you anyone who was partaking in those. It was good fun. Got some good numbers that day. Yes, we did. Yes, we did, and it was good fun because I had a rig. I had my basses there, we had pedal board, we could talk about gear, which is right in front of us. And I had a couple of Queen fans, bass playing friends, asking me what, favourite bass parts, Queen bass parts, favourite things to play. And then a couple of them said, in fact, one guy came on and said, I'm learning Hammer to Fall. I've hit the middle section, I don't know what's going on. So played it for him, slowed it down, took him through it. I think he could see my fingers, see what I was doing, and hopefully that helped him to work it all out. And I got some more of that coming my way next Monday down at Butlins in Bognor. So we're going to have a good night there. And yeah, so plenty of live work coming up, which is going to be interesting over the next couple of weeks. So we'll see how we go. Okay, comments and the questions have slowed. I will start wrapping this up in a couple of minutes, unless you guys have got anything you'd like to talk about or anything you'd like to ask. If you have, stick it in the live chat window and I'll respond immediately. But if we don't see any activity in there shortly, I will wind this up. So next week, this live chat falls at the same time as the England versus Wales game in the World Cup. So chances are it's either going to move slightly earlier, move slightly later, or we might end up having to change the day. I will decide over the next couple of days. And keep an eye on the community tab. Keep an eye on the video that's set up within the YouTube channel for next week. And if I change that time and date, you'll know about it. Also, keep an eye on social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I'll announce what time this live chat, what time or day it gets moved to. If it's going to get moved a day, it'll probably be to Wednesday, because Monday I'm out gigging next Monday. So, but that doesn't mean there won't be an impromptu live chat. You see, it just depends on the Wi-Fi at the venues. So we will see what happens. So tomorrow, hopefully, live gig 12 of the bass string experiment series should be going up, and another YouTube short. There's one every day, and then possibly also another piece of long form content later in the week. I just saw something there. Patrick Sweeney, how do you approach a new tribute band gig, i.e. an act you have not had to replicate before? Do you watch videos, get the dots, tabs, etc.? Okay, I've become, I'll be honest, I've become quite picky over the tribute work I'll do, because if it's a one-off and it's really because someone's ill or they just can't make that gig, unless I think I'm going to do more of them, I won't do it. Because to do a tribute band gig, you have to learn the stuff properly. It's not like doing a covers gig. You have to learn it inside out, and it has to be right. It's not like busking on a pub covers band or a wedding band or a function gig, where you might have played some of those songs. With tributes, people are expecting what they know, what they hear. And my point with any tribute has always been, I said it last week, I think I said it numerous times over the past few weeks, the hard work has been done for you. You haven't got to learn, you haven't got to create a part. The part is already there. All you've got to do is copy what has already been written and arranged and orchestrated. How you go about that is up to you, but you have to do it properly. And if I think I'm only going to be doing one gig, like I say, if someone's ill and they're going to be fit for the rest of the gigs by the end of the week, and I don't see it being something I'm going to do a lot of, or get, like, there wouldn't be much point in me learning a Led Zeppelin tribute, because chances are I'm not going to play with many others. I don't know the Led Zeppelin back catalogue like the back of my hand. It would be far too much work, unless the money was exceptional. And I just don't want to spend that amount of time learning that stuff. Also, since I've started the YouTube channel, that takes up pretty much all my spare time. So trying to do that and be a professional musician, and as I was a bass journalist, that was more than enough to fill my diary every day. So trying to do a tribute band for a one-off gig, I'm probably not going to do. If it was a string of gigs, or a tribute band said, oh, we'd like to use you on a ad hoc basis as and when we need you, then yeah, I'd do it. So an act you've not had to replicate before, do you watch the videos? Yeah. So basically with any tribute band, I will create a playlist of the original album single versions. That's your basis, because generally any band or artist, their live versions is an embellishment on the original piece. I'll then watch live videos so I can get an idea of kind of the vibe, but also how the audience react, because sometimes with tribute bands, the people that will come and see you are diehard fans of the band. So they're expecting certain things. They expect certain script lines, I guess, at certain points in songs or on the gig. I won't say dance moves because that's not necessarily something, but some bass players have a particular way of performing on stage. So, for example, I once got asked to do a Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute. Well, I'm not the biggest Red Hot Chili Peppers fan, and it was going to just be a one-off gig because the bass player just couldn't do. It was on, like, I think it was a Christmas Eve, and I literally would have had 15 hours to learn an entire set. Well, any Red Hot Chili Peppers, any Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute band, the one person everyone is going to look at is the bass player. And I thought, I don't need that level of scrutiny after 15 hours of learning a whole bunch of songs that I really don't know how they go. Could have done it if I'd really, really put my mind to it, but the money wasn't great. And I just thought, no. It would have been fun. If someone had said to me, right, there's a month to learn that gig, then yeah, I'd have probably done it. But with 15 hours, no. And like I say, the money was dreadfully average, especially for a Christmas Eve. And I just thought, I haven't got the time and I just don't want to do it. So yes, generally I'll watch videos. I don't read, so there's no point in me getting dots. Tabs, I might have a look for some online, but I won't use those to learn. That would only be if there was a passage or something going by a bit quick and I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm struggling to find what the first note is here, or what like if there's something a bit tricky, then I might use a tab. But generally I just slow it down, break the song down into parts. Most songs generally, intro, verse, chorus, middle eight, might be a bridge somewhere, chorus, end. So I'll break a song down into its constituent parts and learn each part and then bolt it all together. And that's always kind of worked for me, to be honest. Sometimes I've tried to do stuff rushed, and sometimes you don't have a choice. There's not a lot of time. But as long as I've got time to put in the work, I'll do that. Generally, I like to have, if it's a tribute and there's a particular look, like with Queen, obviously I had a choice which era of John Deacon do you want to go for? So I stumped, because everyone does the Magic era, and I just thought, okay, what's the easiest costume probably to wash quick if you're doing loads of gigs? So I went for the 81, 82 Hot Space, live in Montreal, live at Milton Keynes look. So basically it's a leather jacket, then it's blue t-shirt, blue jeans, yellow t-shirt, yellow jeans, red t-shirt, red jeans. Picked up a Bike It t-shirt as well. So I've got options. So if I have a runner gig, say like the other week where we had 3 on the bounce, I think one night I wore the blue, one night I wore the red, and then the other night I wore the Bike It with the red jeans. They're all combinations you can go with. With the Green Day stuff, it was all black. It was the American Idiot costume. So black sort of combat-y trousers, black top with cut-off sleeves. That was about it. Black trainers, black boots. There wasn't a lot else involved there. But yeah, so that's my take. Patrick, if you want to ask me more questions about tribute bands, I'm more than happy to answer. Star by Stacey Ann. Thanks for all the convo today. Enjoyed it. As always, we'll stay tuned for updates on the next live chat. Take care. Thank you. Have a good day, Stace. Hope you have a good day at work. Yeah, so that's kind of my take on tributes, really. But I do stand by it. You know, no one is going to pay you money to hear your interpretation. People want to hear what they know. So it's like, certainly with the Queen stuff, I just copied the John Deacon parts. I never feel that tempted to put my spin on it because no one's interested. It's play the songs as they were written, and they're such great bass lines anyway. Why would you want to change them? It's like with the ABBA stuff. Got ABBA in next week on Saturday. So with that, the band has done a couple of little minor arrangement things. There's a couple of I think there's 2 small medleys. Then there's one song where they've put a bit of Madonna in because it used the riff from Gimme Gimme Gimme. I try to play all of that as per the guy. And why would you want to rewrite a ABBA bassline? As good as it is. It's classical pop music. Don't change it. So I tend not to. Just play the lines as they are. And again, the thing with tributes, especially if you're depping, you need to be as much of a carbon copy because people are worried about you being a dep as it is. Don't give them a reason to worry. Just play them songs as they are. If the band plays the song slightly differently, well, that's a different thing. In which case you need a copy of what they're playing in advance. But that's kind of my take on that. But yeah, if you've got any other questions, put them in there, Patrick. Otherwise, I'll wind this chat down for this week. So thank you very much to everyone. Thank you for everyone who's got involved tonight. It is always appreciated, you know that. And hopefully we will be back here next Tuesday at 7, unless I move the time or the day. I have a feeling if we change the day, it'll be Wednesday. And if we change the time, it'll either be earlier or just a little bit later. We'll have to see. I've got to plan it out. But keep an eye on the channel. Keep an eye on the community tab, because I'll announce it on there. I'll also put it on the social media as well. So if you follow Brooks's Space Corner on Facebook and you keep an eye on the events, and that's how you remember there's a live chat on, I will update the day and time on there. Otherwise, thank you to everyone for getting involved. Thank you for the thumbs ups, which I can see. Very much appreciated. Thank you to everyone for attending, watching. If you're watching this after the event, feel free to carry on the conversation via the comments, because I will reply to those. And anything referenced videos wise or playlist wise, I will put in the description box below. They will be there probably by tomorrow evening. So basically when this live chat finishes, it then gets uploaded onto YouTube, and I can't really change anything either in the description box or about the editing of the video at the start until it's been uploaded, and that will be tomorrow. So I will try my best to get all of that up there for you for tomorrow. And on that note, I will wish you a good day. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever's left of Tuesday, wherever you are. Hope you enjoyed the live chat. I did. See you next week. This is the place to be. Like I say, keep an eye on the community tab and the social media. I'll update the time and day for next week's live chat as we go. But I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take it easy, guys. All the best. Have a great day. Bye.